Okay, so because this is the sort of the month of Katina for the Burmese and Sri Lankan tradition, right? So we talk about this generosity or giving, right? So Katina is about the month where the monks ended the 3-month rains retreat. So there's this one special month after the rains retreat to conduct this Katina ceremony, the robe offering ceremony. Basically, it's something like awarding this special robe to the MVP, the most highest performing monk in the rains retreat to receive the white cloth. So that's called the Katina cloth, right? So those days they're supposed to hand sew. The cloth is white, so they hand sew and they dye the cloth into their respective colors, then they can wear it. So nowadays, most of the robes are manufactured already. And Katina is actually an instrument, a device actually. It's more ancient than the sewing machine. Yeah, so there's a wooden frame where you where there's multiple layers of thread and they close and open and you're able to weave something. So it's a very ancient device. I haven't seen it myself, but that's how it's described. So yeah, so that's the Katina. Okay, next. So earlier on, because the Buddhist Fellowship Youth Group might invite me to talk about dana, right? Generosity with regards to paramis, the perfections. So just nice, maybe earlier on, Datin was asking about the Pachika Buddha. So just nice tie in with this parami thing. Yeah. So in Buddhism, there's at least 3 kinds of enlightenment. The first kind is the Supreme Buddha, Sammasambuddha, and the second kind, Silent Buddha, Pachika Buddha, and the third kind, Hira Buddha, the Arahant. So the Arahant, it can also be called a Savaka Buddha. So some of the terms can be changed, swapped here and there depending on context. So like our Buddha is also an Arahant. We chant Namo Tassa Bhagavata Arahato. So the Buddha is also an Arahant. So an Arahant can mean quality. It can also mean a noun. So it can be both. So similarly, the several terms like the Buddha and the Tathagata can be both nouns and also qualities. So these are the terms. Okay, so the first kind, on the left picture is the Mahayana portrait. Mahayana portrait. So the top row, you can see 3 Buddhas and attended by 2 attendants, supposedly Arahants. And the rest of the deities down the line are probably the Bodhisattvas, the Mahayana pantheon, the Kuan Yin, and the rest, I do not know, maybe Ti Sang Wan, Laughing, Maitreya Bodhisattva, so all the other Bodhisattvas. Okay, so according to these 3 criteria, what's the difference? So earlier on, I mentioned roughly a bit the Sammasambuddha, according to Buddhist commentary, would require 16. If a person is required a bodhisattva who aspire to reach this Sammasambuddha, supreme enlightenment, right? The wise person is a wisdom-inclined bodhisattva will require 4 eons. 4 eons to reach this Sammasambuddha. And the next kind of bodhisattva will require 8 eons, the energetic kind, Virya kind, energy. Those who like to volunteer and do lots of work, And the last kind is the faith kind. Just go for rituals and ceremonies. Then they say 16 eons, requires 16 eons of time to become a Sammasambuddha. So 1 eon is 1 universe cycle, 1 universe lifespan. So this is the commentarial explanation. But again, it contradicts in the sutta, so I won't mention now. Okay, so the second one is silent Buddha. Okay, so the Supreme Buddha is a being that's able to rediscover the truth, the path to enlightenment by themselves, and able to teach and have a following. So this is a Supreme Buddha. Whereas a silent Buddha is quite similar in a time where there's nobody who sort of realize the truth, and they're able to rediscover themselves, but they're unable to teach. So this is the Pacheka Buddha. Whereas the third one, the hearer Buddha, the so-called Arahants, exist in a time where there are already teachings of the Dharma, the teachings of Buddhism. So if they're able to reach enlightenment using their teachings, then these are the hearers, hearer Buddhas, Arahants. So according to the monastic rule, by right, monks shouldn't declare any of those. But sometimes you go to certain traditions, they will tell you they're living Buddhas. So which Buddha are they? Are they the first one, second one, or third one? So if they are in this current era, most probably is the third one. Yeah, can't be the first or the second one. Okay, next. Okay, so these are the 10 paramitas, the 10 perfections. So we have the giving, generosity, followed by virtue, renunciation, patience, energy, wisdom, truthfulness, determination, loving kindness, and equanimity. Right? So in the Mahayana tradition, they emphasize 6. Theravada have 10, but we don't have a clear plan. Theravada, no clear plan. Mahayana have 57 levels of bodhisattva. We don't have any clear plan. We just say, okay, just follow these 10 paramitas. And in Theravada tradition, if I'm not wrong, most of the aspiring bodhisattvas are aiming just for the Arahant, the Savaka Buddhas. Yeah, they don't aim for the first kind. Nobody wants to aim for the second kind. Pacheka Buddha. You come out in that time, you can't teach, then what's the point, right? So, so these are the 10. Okay, next. Okay, so because this topic is about dana and giving, so we are going to talk about what are the things people can help and give. Right, so usually the traditionally is the first 4, right? Food, robes, lodgings, medicine. So in the Buddha's time, the first 4, and the fifth one, money, right? So in the Buddha's time, with certain exceptions, if some lay devotee were to insist on giving money, then the monks can get the lay attendant, the helper, to accept on behalf. So this is the monetary thing. Right, so there are lots of rules also and regulations with regard to handling money. And volunteerism. So you all can volunteer in any organization, any charity center as well. And the Dharma, some people want to share Dharma, yeah? Okay, so giving Dharma, the gift of truth excels all other gifts. So that is the popular saying of the Dhammapada. So we give all kinds of gifts, not as excellent as sharing Dhamma. So end up, everybody wants to share Dhamma. Then end up, there's some supply and demand issue, yeah? Supply and demand lopsidedness. So I was discussing with some senior monks a few years back in Malaysia when we had this short-term monkhood at Santi Forest Monastery. So some invited guests came by and they were sharing about this issue, and they were saying, nowadays just so many lay people have so much qualification in Buddhist studies, and they are able to share the Dhamma so well until the monks don't have to do anything. So the monks just do rituals and ceremonies, and the lay people just give Dhamma talk. Because monks, we have the monastic rules with regard to teaching Buddhism. right? So yesterday I shared a few, with regard to the walking meditation. We cannot give Dharma while walking. So altogether, we have 16. Teaching Buddhism have 16 monastic rules, which all of them not applicable for layperson. So layperson can suka anyhow can go and share. Whereas monastics have to wait for invitation. So we're just waiting there, and nobody come to invite the monks to teach Buddhism, right? So all the lay people, because now it's free market capitalism, huh? So whoever is more innovative, they go up first and then they start giving Dhamma talk already. So lay people don't have this restriction, so they just go and give Dhamma talk. So the monks is just waiting and waiting. Nobody come there. So who will come for the monks? Only where there's ritual, maybe funeral, somebody passed away. Nobody will go for the lay people to conduct ceremony, right? So they only look for monastic. So the monastic job is just they become this only, become ceremony and ritual. So this is the current trend. Okay, and the last one, others. Yeah, so you can volunteer other things. Yeah, I'm not sure what else. Did I miss on anything? Somebody want to comment? Okay, so there's a reason why monks have these 16 monastic rules. So I give a few examples. One of the rules is we are not supposed to teach Dhamma to anybody older than us without invitation, or if they are not sick. Yeah, because if we start, okay, let's say if you just go suka go to a kopitiam and just start sharing Dhamma. Hey, you must believe in the triple gem, If not, you'll be reborn in the three lower realms. Right? You go and share like this. See what kind of response you get. Yeah, so so there's backfiring, right? If there's no demand, if they do not show interest and they do not want to know, want to find out, and you start to sort of proselytize, and it will backfire. Instead of creating good karma, you're creating negative karma, right? So that's why you have these rules. Then another, some of the rules is if a person is holding an umbrella, so it symbolizes somebody higher in ranking than you, or maybe your boss or whatever it is, higher social class. You also cannot teach Dhamma to them. And somebody higher, sitting higher than you, standing higher than you. Maybe their ego is higher than you, cannot teach them. Yeah? So there's so many rules. Okay, next. Okay, so the next one is the merit formula, right? Merit formula. So this one is the traditional diagram. You can forget about the background, yeah? Those ABC, you can don't look at it for decorative purposes. Okay, so you can look at the triangle. Look at the triangle. So at the bottom of the pyramid is the dana, right? So this is more for layperson. So at the bottom, because you have financial power, you've got salary, you can buy things and give to whoever you want. Yeah. And then next one is sila, morality. So you observe your precepts. So in this retreat, most of you are taking 5 precepts. Yeah. And the highest is this bhavana, meditation, mental cultivation. So this is the pyramid. It's not a pyramid scam. Yeah, this one is a real pyramid model about merit. Okay, so next one. Okay, so why the merit is in this order, right? The highest is the meditation and cultivation. Okay, so the Buddha gives an example. There's this very rich fellow in the past called Velama. So I give an example. This Velama give a donation, 84,000 cartons of gold and silver and gems and many other things, food, lodging, and whatever. And he feed one ordinary person. He will accumulate X amount of merit. But the Buddha mentioned, if a person were just to give one meal, feed one person of consummate view, that means stream enterer, it is more meritorious than this Velama's gift. So a person can be giving items richer than Bill Gates to any maybe unwholesome person, not as meritorious, right, as giving to one person of this stream enterer. Okay, then he give a few more examples. There's a list of it. So if a person were to feed one once returner, it's equivalent to feeding 100 stream enterers, right? And then it kind of goes down the list. One returner equals 100 once returners. Non-returner equals 100 once returners. Yeah. Then one arahant is equals to 100 non-returners. And one Pacheka Buddha, one private Buddha equals to feeding 100 arahants. And feeding one Buddha equals to feeding 100 silent Buddhas. And if a person were to feed a community of monks headed by the Buddha is better than feeding a Buddha. Wow, okay, so this is the whole list. So the issue comes after the Buddha gave this sermon, or people take this out of context, right? And sometimes people were to announce and declare, or they have reached maybe certain enlightenment or whatever. And all the lay devotees run to the so-called enlightened monk. And the rest of the monk go hungry. Right, so we have the monastic rule not to reveal any spiritual realization to a non-monastic. So there's a reason for this. Yeah. Okay, next. Okay, then next one, building logistics. Right, building building is more meritorious than feeding because the building can last longer. One meal lasts one time, one day, the next day hungry again. So the building maybe lasts more years. Yeah. Then the next one, with a confident mind, if a person were to go to take refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, is more meritorious than building a dwelling. Then the next one, if a person with a confident mind were to take the precepts, then it's more meritorious than the 3 refuges. And if a person with a whiff of loving kindness is more meritorious than just observing the 5 precepts. And if a person were just a finger snap of perception of impermanence, it's more than this loving kindness, right? Wow, okay, so when you practice this meditation, more meritorious than doing all those, yeah? So some people may take it out of context and then like that, don't do any charity, just meditate. Then you have a problem. Right? Then according to the pyramid model, if a person were to lack of doing good deeds, then the mind not enough merit, then the building will crumble, and the pyramid will crumble. So a person, let's say very dry, very unwholesome, never do any good things, they want to meditate, cannot meditate, yeah? So probably you all can meditate. Probably in the past you have done certain good things which will carry you through, yeah? And is doing good deeds just for the sake of doing good deeds and nothing else? Can doing charity, doing dana, generosity be taken a step further? Can it be a form of meditation as well? Right? So because in meditation, when we sit down and meditate, right, I always mention in my class, it's not restricted to sitting down. When you sit down and close your eyes, you have 5 aggregates, you have 6 senses, 6 sense bases. When you open your eyes and go about doing your normal things, you also have 5 aggregates and 6 sense bases, right? So it's not about just sitting down and closing your eyes, then you start to meditate. Then outside of the formal meditation, back to square one, then the mind is creating all kinds of karma again, right? So we are going to bring a step further and trying to bring meditation into doing activities. So one of the activities is charity, yeah? Okay, next. Okay, so the same thing is giving just for the Buddhist monks. Right? Because after the Buddha give this teaching, giving dana to a stream enterer is more than an ordinary person, then some people may mistaken, or like that only give to Buddhist community, like Buddhist monastics. Right? Is it true? Right? So there's this particular wanderer called Vacha came with this accusation to the Buddha. Is it true that you teach people not to donate to other religious leaders? Yeah. So the Buddha replied, Vacha, whoever says this, Gautama the contemplative says this, only to me should a gift be given. Only what is given to my disciples bears great fruit, and not what is given to the disciples of others. Is not reporting my actual words, is misrepresenting me with what is unfactual and untrue, right? So next time, whoever you meet will tell you, oh, only I don't give to other religion. Those charity organization, don't never accumulate as much good karma. And this is fake news. So the Buddha mentioned, Vacha, whoever prevents another from giving a gift creates three obstructions, three impediments, which three? He creates an obstruction to the merit of the giver, right? An obstruction to the recipient's gains. And prior to that, he undermines and harms his own self. So he is creating an obstruction, an obstacle, karmic obstacle for themselves also, right? So, so why is it unfactual and untrue? Why is the hidden meaning of this unfactual and untrue? Is it true that the other religions also has stream enterer as once returner? Maybe you would have non-returner and enlightened beings, right? Because after the Buddha got enlightened, he also shared the Dhamma. Anybody can attend his Dhamma talk. So ascetics from other religions also attend his Dhamma talk. And not all of them convert to become Buddhist disciples. Right? They just listen and okay, then we just walk off. Yeah. So the Dhamma is shared very openly. It's like a forum. Anybody share, anybody can exchange. So the teachings are being shared so openly, that I remember one time I was having some interfaith dialogue. I was traveling to China with an interfaith youth group. So I was talking to this young yoga instructor, a Hindu yoga instructor, and he told me, oh, their Veda also got talk about shunyata, emptiness. They also have. So most of the concepts, the list of reflections are pre-Buddhist in nature, right? The concept of emptiness and whatever, yeah? Okay, next. All right, so so it's the thought that counts. So this is got to do with the afterlife, doing merit and what kind of rebirth one will take place in. Yeah. So on the left column is the picture of the four heavenly kings, right? Not the Cantopop four heavenly kings, but the real four heavenly kings. Yeah. So the on the right is the action, the same action. If a person does the same action, right, give this food, drink, and clothing to a religious leader, but we never mentioned the intention yet. So now we're going to talk about with the same action and the different kinds of intention. What realm will they be reborn in? Okay, next. Okay, so it's the same action. So these are the different intentions, right? So if a person were to give to seek their own profit and reward, yeah, so it's very selfish. I do this because of good karma. I want that good karma. Or I donate because I want to strike rich. I want to be wealthy in future. In the previous series, in the Tuesday Zoom session, we talked about karma, right? one of the conditions for wealth is because a person donates, does charity, do dana. So some people think, okay, I want to be wealthy, okay, so I do dana. Because of this intention, then one can be reborn in the company of the 4 great kings. So in the Buddhist cosmology, these 4 heavenly kings is just above the human realm. So not very high. So just immediately above the human realm. So it's the 4 great heavenly kings. So it goes in ascending order. Then the next one, you do good because it is good. Then they'll be reborn in the devas of the 33. So these 33 kings. So in this is it's an intergalactic council of 33 species, 33 kingdoms. So it's devas of 33. And the next one, tradition of forefathers, because my father did it, my grandfather did it, so I just follow the custom, because you respect the tradition. And another realm, devas of the hours, and the next one, you do it because empathy. This fellow poor thing, so you help the person. Then reborn in the contented devas. So these contented devas is this Tusita realm, interestingly. So the post-canonical Buddhism will tell you only bodhisattvas can be reborn there. Whereas the sutta say, no, to Tusita realm, anybody can go there. Even the Buddha's mother, she's also reborn there in this Tusita realm. Okay, then the next one. Great sacrifices of the sages of the past. Right, then the next one is these devas who delight in creation because of the the religious leaders of the past, they did it, or the founders of your religion did it, then you emulate what they do. So this is the result. So these devas who delight in creation is this what's the name? Nimanarati, is it? I've forgotten. Okay, was a Paritan. Okay, then the next one, makes the mind serene, gratification and joy arises. So this one is the meditator's perspective. So if a person were to meditate, I have no progress, like mind no peace, then you want to do good for the sake of getting this mental serene, mental calm and peace, then they'll be reborn in this realm, the devas who have power over the creation of others. So guess who's in that realm? Mara. Mara is in this realm, the Paranimita Vasavati Deva. The highest sensual Deva realm. So in Buddhism, the demons also in heaven, gods and demons all in heaven. So like the Yama realm, I think it's devas of hours. So Yama is in hell, but Yama also is in heaven. The Yama realm in heaven, but he's judging the hell. So this is the Buddhist thing. So not all heavenly beings look like some artistic drawing. The Buddhist ones still quite okay. They show the nice looking, maybe handsome or beautiful looking deva. Some of them are ugly looking like demons. So the Buddhist one give a more objective picture. Maybe some other religions, they will tell you, oh, the heavenly beings look nice. Then the beings in hell, the demons look very ugly like monster. So the Buddhist one, everything in heaven. Oh, the ugly one, the nice one, all in heaven. So probably might be true. All the different intergalactic races and species all up there. Okay, then the last one, support for the mind, right? So the last one is very interesting. So if a person were to reflect in a way, the understanding of cause and effect, right? Because you do this is a condition just to create a karmic condition for the mind. Then they will be reborn in this Brahma retinue, in the Brahma realm. And upon death, then they get upgraded into this non-returner, into the pure abodes. So interestingly, in this Dana Sutta, it's trying to say doing dana can reach this path to path to non-returner, can reach this path to non-returning. If a person become a non-returner, not after that, straight away reborn in the pure abode. However, this one, if a person contemplate support for the mind, cause and effect, then they get reborn one realm first before this pure abode. So it can be somewhere in between one's returner and this path to non-returner. Yeah. Okay, so this is more of the here and now. Here and now kind of maybe a bit of next life. Yeah. Having given a gift with a sense of conviction, with faith, he, wherever the result of that gift ripens, is rich and with much wealth, right, much possessions, and he is well built, good looking, extremely inspiring, endowed with lotus-like complexion. That means you look beautiful. Okay, so this is if a person give with faith. Give with faith. Right, so if you give with this, what is more like here and now, yeah? Then the next one, if a person give attentively, then your children, wife, slaves, nowadays no slaves already, yeah? Now your servant workers and will listen carefully to you, right? Lend you your ears. Okay, so if a person were to give attentively, that means you you know what is required of them. That means you pay attention to detail, right? So you give attentively. So there's karmic consequences. You are sincere, then the things will reciprocate, right? So a person give with faith, right? So that is you're giving with sort of a pure intention. Give with faith, right? There's got to do with intention. So this good intention. So naturally you have this inner beauty, right? Inner beauty. Okay, next. So if a person give in season, right? That means you give at the right time. You give at the right time. Then again, your goals will be fulfilled in season, in the right time. And if a person give with an empathetic heart, right? So people who give with empathy, right? Then the mind inclines to the enjoyment of the 5 strings of lavish sensuality. Right? So the contented deva. Yeah? Okay, so even the here and now, if a person gives very have an empathetic heart, that means they're sensitive to other people's emotions, sensitive to other people's suffering. So they're training their sensitivity of the senses, right? So they even in the here and now, if they're sensitive, then they are also sensitive to this sensual enjoyment, which may be good or bad to the practice. Yeah. Okay, then the next one, having given a gift without adversely affecting himself or others. So this one, same thing. When you give wisely. Don't give and don't do your research and just give to the other party. Right? Not from anywhere does destruction come to his property, whether from fire, from water, from kings, from thieves, or from hateful hairs. Right? So if a person will give, do check out the organization you give to, right, or the person. Make sure you give the money really goes to the actual help. All right. Okay. So this is the few consequences. Next. Okay. The next one in generosity as a meditation. So we are going to talk about how to bring meditation to your daily activities. Right. So if a person were to meditate, so this morning we practice on contemplating on, let's say, the Brahma Viharas as object of meditation. So have you all tried using Brahma Viharas to do walking? No, never? Okay, so maybe your free time can try. So, or using this one, generosity. Okay, so so if a person were to reconnect your own good deeds, your generosity, right? Uh, all the among people overcome with a stain of possessiveness, right? I live at home, my awareness cleansed of the stain of possessiveness, freely generous. It means you are no longer selfish, open-handed, delighting in being magnanimous, responsive to requests, delighting in the distribution of alms. Okay, so whatever good things you just keep on contemplating. So this is the whole idea of contemplation. So I think Hui Wen was asking this yesterday, right? Yeah. So you need to think of all the good things you've done and also the good results. Do you end up being less selfish, more magnanimous? Yeah. So these are the things you need to think of after doing the good deeds. Then this will bring about the meritorious state of mind. Okay, next. Okay, so if a person practices this correctly, any of the 6 recollections, then this chain reaction should be activated. Yeah. So if you think of all the good things, then the mind should be free from passion, free from aversion. Then if there's no delusion, right, that means you keep on contemplating and you don't hang on to that idea and fantasize for too long of how heroic you are. And then you will reduce these 3 poisons. And the mind will have a sense of Dhamma, right? Will head straight. Then the second point, disciple of the noble ones gains a sense of the goal, gains a sense of the Dhamma. So once the desire reduces, then they're able to see the truth. So how they see the truth, right? They gain a joy connected with the Dhamma, rapture arises. So this is how they see the truth. When desire reduces, spiritual joy and happiness should arise. So sometimes in meditation, we think about, the hair grow old, the skin grow old, then drop down, decay. And some people feel joyful, not because you're psychopathic, but because they are able to reduce desire, right? When they see things impermanent and joy arise. So this is certain Dhamma joy that arise, yeah? So this isn't the same as material sense joy. Right? Sensual pleasure is different. Like if you watch a movie, go to the cinema, go for holiday, go have a nice meal. So these are sensual pleasure, right? So you'll be able to differentiate if you meditate. So there's a Dhamma joy is different from sensual pleasure. It's opposite from desire, right? Sensual pleasure requires desire to be happy, whereas Dhamma pleasure, Dhamma joy is going against, right, this desire to be happy. Okay, so the body grows calm. So once you produce enough this joy and whatever, then this will also be impermanent. The mind will calm down and will grow calm, yeah? And have this ease, that means tranquility, and the mind becomes concentrated, have this samadhi, develop samadhi. Right, so they never mentioned the last one, equanimity, right? So this one will be after some time. So these are the various, at least 6 factors of enlightenment is presented in these 6 recollections. Okay, next. So when and where to practice, right? So if a person were to develop this recollection, you can do it anywhere, any activity. Standing, walking, sitting, lying down, working, busy at work also can think. When you are resting at home, crowded with children, playing with your children, also can meditate. Right? So after hearing this, you won't say, I have no time to meditate. No excuse really. So now every time can meditate. Huh? Okay, so this is the conclusion of the talk. Right, so I presented what is generosity, how you can practice generosity and the different merits and where and when you can practice. Yeah. Find a comfortable sitting position. Okay, so this session we are still more or less doing the same, the 4 Brahma Viharas, because I do not know what are the good things you've done. So I cannot list out the good things you've done. You yourself know. Huh? Okay, so this is a very general kind of guided meditation. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is now we're doing the visualization. So now we're going to imagine or visualize our own body. So now we're going to do an MRI scan. From head, from your skull. If you can visualize a cross section of your body, please go ahead. Yeah? So from the top of your hair, you wish the hair is well and happy. And then the skin. And then below the skin is the skull. And beneath the skull is the brain. All these are just mind objects. Huh? I haven't seen my own brain before, huh? So doesn't mean my brain don't exist. Yeah, so this is imagination. And then we go down to the rest of the face, right? Your eyeballs, and then the facial muscles, and then the cheek bones, and the jaws, and the teeth. So when you think of these parts of the body, right, first you got to wish them well and happy. If you don't wish it well and happy, then the normal untrained response will come in. Yeah, here this part so disgusting one. Then we move down to the neck area, right, your tongue and your throat and your spinal cord, yeah, the neck bone. Wish them well and happy. And then down to the your windpipe, yeah, your trachea, all the way down to your lungs, your chest area. So there's your rib cage and the rest of the intercostal muscles that bind the rib cage. And your diaphragm. And beside the windpipe, there's also the gullet, yeah, the esophagus, the tract that leads to your stomach. Then you have your heart, of course, and center of the, between the lungs. You can think of the spleen and the pancreas. And the liver. I wish all of them well and happy. And the small and large intestines. All the lunch and breakfast we had earlier this morning, all inside. So it's a contemplation on impermanence of the food, yeah? From Instagrammable photo on a dish to the toilet bowl, yeah? And we can think of the rest of the muscle that surround those organs. And all the rest of the spinal cord, your hip bones, well and happy. And your pelvic region. And then you can think of the thighs, your thigh bone, kneecaps, shin, and the rest of the feet. So you wish all this imagery, well and happy. So all these are just mental perceptions. But then you have to take note, there's a sense of self in my body, my part of my body, right? But it's not real. We haven't seen it before. So where did this sense of I come from? And all these body parts are subject to suffering, aging, decay, and passing away. And may they be free from suffering. all beings too, in the entire universe are subject to this birth, aging, decay, and passing away as well. So when we think of this aging, decay, and passing away, it's not just a few seconds. We can keep repeating aging, decay, passing away, and the cells grow again and aging, decay, passing away. So not just for yourself, but all beings. So the initial loving kindness is to set the tone right. And when we start to see this aging, decay, and death, that is trying to see the Dharma, see the Four Noble Truths, try to see suffering. So compassion has a strong relation to the Four Noble Truths. And when we constantly think of this birth, aging, decay, and death, and that is the right effort, that means every moment we keep on generating this right thought. Once we stop thinking only, then all the wrong thoughts will come, all the hindrances will come, all the restlessness, worry. If a person practices compassion without impermanence, then he will easily fall into clinging into depression. So when a person observes this rising and passing away, birth and death, then there will be some detachment. And this detachment will lead the mind to equanimity. then we can also think of appreciative joy. Even though this body is constantly going through this aging, decay, and death, people still can make use of this opportunity to do good. Those who are more capable and more able, right? They help those who are in trouble. So we have this rejoice, appreciative joy for them. So this is appreciative joy for others. Now we have appreciative joy for ourselves and all the good deeds we've done. And even though we are going through this birth and death all the time, right? So using our own potential, we help others in need, and we rejoice or recollect our good deeds. And you compare and see whether there's any selfishness, any ego, or we call it pride, compared to rejoicing for others. If there's no pride, then that means you're correct. That means you're contemplating it correctly. And you can maintain this contemplation on the good deeds and also mindful of impermanence. Life is short, everything is subject to decay. Not waste any time, do more good. keep being mindful of the impermanence, of the decaying and the shortness of life. So now we have think of the past, and now we are going to generate more good deeds for the future, yeah, or rather the present. So by generating loving kindness is considered wholesome karma, yeah, wholesome good deed. So we are going to wish all beings well and happy. while wishing them well and happy, also be mindful of their impermanence, yeah, birth, aging, decay, and passing away. So the next step is to be mindful of all these wholesome thoughts all the time, right thoughts, be it standing, sitting, walking, or lying down. All right, so with that in mind, then we can slowly, physically conclude the meditation, but mentally, still meditating.